Working at your own pace, making sure that nothing is causing pain or discomfort, as in joint pain. Muscular discomfort, entirely up to you. If you need to stop, stretch, have a little rest to stop and stretch. If you can keep it going for as long as you can. Making sure that you've got the usual props, so a strap or a band, a belt, and then a block or a ball, a cushion that you can use. If you're seated, finding that nice upright seated position. So see if I can open up the space at the front, encouraging the diaphragm to freely descend and ascend to create that relaxed breath. If I'm lying down, using the mat to support the body, and then see if I can get the breath going to help me calm the system. So noticing where the breath is coming from. If I can feel that it's coming up here, so I can feel that is the neck tensing, is intercostal muscles, is the chest muscle tensing. See if I can encourage it to relax, it to soften, to calm down, and then direct the breath directly into the belly. Feeling the belly and the rib cage expanding out with the inhalation and relaxing with the exhalation. So it's nice, soft breath. I'm not forcing, I'm not trying to push the belly out. I'm just letting the breath do it for me. And then maintaining that soft, relaxed breath going. Again, as usual, notice where the body is and how it feels. So if I'm seated, is the pressure under my seat bones the same, or do I feel more pressure on one side than the other? Is my pelvis level? Am I slightly off to one side? If I'm lying down, is my head centered? Is the pressure that I feel at the back of the legs or at the back of the arm the same? I'm not changing anything. I'm just going to notice where everything is, noticing how I feel to begin with. And then maintaining that soft breath going, I'm just going to start focusing on the shoulder girdle. I'm going to start pulling the head, pulling the shoulders up to the head, and then I'm going to slide them away and push them away. So I'm going to pull them up and towards the head, and then I'm going to slide them away. So picture the shoulder blades gliding up and down the back of the rib cage as much as possible, noticing that when you pull them to the head, you can feel the stiffening and tension into the neck. When I push them away, I can feel the neck lengthening, opening, and then the tension moving behind the shoulders down into the back of the rib cage, into the lats, into the big muscles, the rounds at the back. As I feel the gliding is happening a little bit easier, is a little bit better, then I'm going to change the direction of the movement. Instead of elevation, depression, I'm going to go into protraction, retraction. So I'm going to pull the shoulders forward as far as I can, and then I'm going to push them back as far as I can. So if I'm laying down, as the shoulders pull forward, I can feel that the back of the shoulders tends to lift away from the mat. As the shoulder draws back, I can feel that the center of the back tends to lift away from the mat. If I'm seated, I can feel the back of the rib cage moving, so I can feel a little flexion as I pull forward, just a little extension as I draw them back. Every once in a while, checking that you're still keeping the shoulders down, so there is no tension sneaking up into the neck, into the side, the front or the back of it. 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. So a little bit more movement into the shoulder girdle. I want to focus into the shoulder joint. So I'm going to bend the elbows, turn the palms to face towards me. So imagine to be lying down or seated with a book in your hands. I'm going to take a deep breath in, and then as I breathe out, I'm going to start rotating the arms out. So imagine to be taking your thumbs to the side of the room or to the floor if I'm lying down. and then I'm just going to rotate back. So see if you can focus on the humerus at the top of the arm, turning slightly into the shoulder socket. I'm not forcing, I'm not pushing it backwards, I'm not swinging it. I'm just trying to encourage a little rotation, and then I'm going to rotate back. If I'm laying down, it's a little bit easier in terms of guidance, as I can feel the arm. I want the arm to stay on the mat as I rotate out and as I rotate back. So the arm is not lifting, it's not swinging out, it's staying in the same position, it's just turning and then coming back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. It's a little bit movement into the shoulder joint. I'm going to start adding a little bit of a load. So this time I'm going to go for a bigger movement. I'm going to bring the arms up to the front, and then I'm going to turn them so palms are facing towards the head, towards the face, and then I'm going to take them out to the side. Then I'm going to come back in and then drop them. So I'm going to lift them up, open them to the side, come back, and then drop them. So think of a little swing. I'm not taking the arms too high. I'm just trying to swing them up and out, and then in and down, up and out, and then in and down. The elbows are staying soft, so I'm not locking the elbow. That will tend to put quite a lot of tension into the shoulder. I'm keeping it as loose as I possibly can. And then especially as you open, see if you can think of a nicer space across the front of the chest and along the collarbones. So I want to try and open up and then release. So see if I can take some of the tension, some of the stiffness off the front of the chest and the front of the shoulder. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. I'm going to stay with the shoulder, but this time I want to add a little back movement. So if you're lying down, I want you to roll over onto your side. As you're lying down on the side, the bottom arm, I want you to pull it straight forward, so you're resting on the back of that shoulder. The head is resting on the pillow, or if I find that I'm comfortable enough, I might rest it on the floor. The knees are bent and then slightly forward to the body line. Then from here, I'm going to go for the little opening and closing door. So think of the same arm swing that you've just been practiced with both arms. I'm going to do it with one. So I'm going to swing around, open out, this time turning the rib cage to see if I can create a nice opening into that side of the chest. And then I'm just going to ease my way back. If you're seated, it's the same. I'm going to pick up one arm, I'm going to tell the palm to face out, and then I'm just going to turn and open the arm to the back. Then I'm going to ease back to the center and then repeat on the same side. So I'm going to pick up the arm and then swing it around and then coming back. So almost as if you were holding a glass in your hand and then you were trying to pass it to the person behind you without dropping it. So the shoulder is keeping down. See if I can create that nice easy rotation into the back of the rib cage, making sure that I'm not forcing, making sure that I'm not hitching the shoulder up, so it doesn't feel as if the back of the neck is suddenly feeling tight, it's feeling grippy, it's feeling stiff. It feels loose, it feels relaxed. I'm just swinging it out and then coming back in. 3, 2, 1, and releasing, giving the arm a little bit of a roll, relaxing the shoulder, relaxing the back. I've got a little bit more movement into the back, and then some movement across the front of the chest. I want to try and get more movement into the shoulder. So this time, instead of just swinging out, I'm going to circle the arm around. So I'm going to start with the arm at the front. I'm going to circle it up towards the head. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to follow the arm into a big swing all the way back to the front. And then I'm going to reverse. So I'm going to swing it down and behind. I'm going to circle around and then bring it back. The circle could be small or could be big. It doesn't matter the size of it. So it could be a little movement, just to see if you can still control that rotation, and just a little bit more movement into the shoulder joint. This is something that works for the shoulder and something that works for the back. If I'm laying down, exactly the same. So I'm just going to go around this way. One way. And then I'm going to change the direction and then come around the opposite way. Keeping the elbow bent. Again, making sure that I'm not twisting the arm at funny angle. The shoulder is not grinding. 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, giving the shoulder a little bit of a roll, relaxing the shoulder, releasing the back. I'm going to try the same, but on the other side. So if you're lying down, I want you to roll over onto the other side, setting the same position. So using the block to support the head, the bottom arm is pulled right to the front, so you're resting on the back of the shoulder, knees are bent in front of the hips, so the shins are parallel to the front of the mat. And then I'm just going to start with that nice, easy opening and closing doors. So I'm just going to lift and then straight open into the back. And then I'm going to come back. Seated, exactly the same, but this time using the other arm. So I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to pass the glass to the person behind me. Come back, lifting up, pass the glass. Coming back, pass the glass, and then back. So same as I did on the other side. I know that the first few movements are always the stiffer ones. So I'm just going to start easy, and then eventually if the back allows me to go deeper, if the shoulder feels safer, feels comfortable, then I might open the movement a little bit wider, making it a little bit bigger. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, giving the shoulder a little bit of a roll, relaxing the arm, and then I'm going to try exactly the same as I did on the other side. Instead of just opening, I'm going to circle around. So I'm going to bring the arm up and towards the head. I'm going to turn, circle around, and then come back. Then I'm going to reverse. I'm going to drop down and towards the hips, around, and come back to the front. And then reversing again. So same as before, it could be a big movement, it could be a little movement. This again is what works for this shoulder and this side of the body. It's making sure that nothing is causing you discomfort, it's causing you pain. 5, 4, 3, 2, Last one. And releasing back. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, relaxing the shoulders. If you're lying down, I want you to roll over onto your back again. So it's a little bit more movement into the shoulder. It's a little bit more movement into the back. I feel a little bit looser, hopefully. At the top, what I want is to try and do a similar thing, but this time working at the other end, working with the legs. So I'm just going to shuffle the feet and the knees nice and close together. If I'm lying down, I'm going to bend the knees. And then from here, I'm just going to start opening and closing just on the same side. So I'm going to focus on my right leg. I'm going to start opening the right leg out to the right as far as I can. And then I'm going to squeeze it back to the center. I'm going to open it to the right and squeeze it back to center. So same as usual. If the leg is a little bit temperamental, then I'm going to use the hand to help me guide it. So I'm just going to encourage it to open. And then if it needs a little bit of encouragement, I might encourage it to close. So open and close. Open and close. If you're lying down on the back, just to see if you can make sure that when you open and close the door with the leg, when you open and close the knee, the opposite side of the hip is not lifting. So I'm not twisting myself to the side. I'm trying to hold the pelvis so the hips are stable. I'm just trying to move the leg into the hip socket. 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Relaxing the leg, releasing the inner thigh. I'm going to try the same thing on the left side, on the other side. So again, pelvis nice and still, especially if I'm laying down. I'm going to open the left leg out to the left. And then I'm going to ease back to center. If this side is a bit temperamental, then I'm going to use my hand to help me move that leg. The same as before, without forcing, making sure that I'm not creating pinching in the hip, I'm not creating pain in the joint. So I'm just going to open and squeeze back, open and squeeze back in again. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, releasing the hip, releasing the inner thighs, a little bit more connection to the inside of the leg, but to the side of the hip. I want a little bit more awareness on the inside of the leg. So I'm going to put block, ball, pillow between the knees. Shuffle the feet nice and close together. And then I'm just going to go for a nice squeeze release. So I'm going to press the knees together. I'm going to release, press them together, release, press them together, release, press them together, release. Same as I did for the opening and closing. If I feel that one leg is struggling or both legs are struggling a bit, I'm just going to use the hands to encourage the direction. And then once that I feel that I've got that tension, see if I can try and then progressively see if I can add the speed to the squeeze. So can I still squeeze, but can I squeeze faster? So can I squeeze, release, 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 squeeze, release. And then keeping that fast speed. Notice if you find that one leg tends to kind of like slow down quicker, or I tend to lose it on my left side, I seem to be able to keep going on the right side. If that's the case, I'm going to slow down again, see if I can get control of the leg that I've lost. And then again, progressively see if I can go quicker again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Relaxing the leg, releasing the inner thigh. And then similar to the rotation that we practice with the upper body, I'm going to do a similar thing on the legs. If I'm seated, obviously the rotation will be limited as I'm sitting on the hips, so I can't move that much. But if I'm laying down, I should be able to get quite a nice rotation. So I'm going to focus on the right leg. I'm going to open the right knee out to the right as much as I can. And then what I want is to try and join with that left knee. So I'm going to try and close the left knee to join the right on the right side. Then I'm going to open the left as much as I can. And then I'm going to join the right to the left side. The left to the right side, the right to the left side. Then open again. And then left goes right. Open again. And then right goes left. So I'm just going to go from one, I'm going to open, close the other way, open, close the other way. So instead of closing in the center, this time I've got to work a little bit more with the inside of the leg to create that little rotation that is going to allow me to take the legs, both legs to the side. If I'm lying down, as the hips of the pelvis is free to move, I should be able to feel a little rotation from side, open, close the other way to the other side. So from side to the other side. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. And releasing back. Using the legs back to the middle, relaxing the hip, releasing the inner thigh. So there's a little bit more movement into the hips too. I'm going to go back to the upper body, changing the direction of the movement slightly. This time I'm going to work with both arms at the same time. I'm going to raise them up to the ceiling. I'm going to take them up, take them back as far as I can, and then circle them around to bring them back to the hips. Then again, I'm going to lift, open, and then circle around to come back. Think of an exaggerated movement, so as big as it can get, as far as I'm happy with the movement, so the shoulder is not grinding, it's not pinching or catching. If I'm seated, the arms will be heavier, as I'm working against gravity, so I might find that after a while that becomes a bit too heavy, so I need to kind of like drop them slightly. That's fine. And then once that you feel that you've got a good arms movement, think of exaggerating it by following with the chest. So can I try and encourage a nice extension as the arms go up and a little flexion as they come round? A little extension as they go up and then a little flexion as they come round. So see if I can try and free the rib cage, this time with a little flexion extension, with a little forward and back movement. If you're lying down, you can have a little lift with the head if you want to. So as the arms come around, I might lift my head and my shoulders, then I'm going to drop. I'm going to extend again and then swing round, come up into that little lift. Just making sure that the neck doesn't start feeling tight. So I can feel the belly's working, the neck is helping, but it's not creating too much tension around it. 3, extend, flex. 2, one, and releasing down. Relaxing the shoulders, giving the head a gentle roll, making sure that the neck doesn't feel stiff, it doesn't feel tight. And then this time, I'm going to work front to back into the leg as well. So first thing, I'm going to try and work front. So if you're laying down, put the pillow or the ball between your right thigh and your right hand. So you've got something to squeeze on. If you're seated, you can do the same, but because I'm seated, the hip flexion is deeper, so the thigh is closer to me. I can just put the hand on the leg. So it's entirely up to you. And then here, think of squeezing the ball or squeezing between your hand and the leg. So I'm going to press my right hand and my right leg together, relax. Press my right hand, my right leg together, and relax. So see if you can, by trying to squeeze the two together, you can feel a little tension into the front of the hip. So the hip flexors kind of like twitching, clumping up a little bit. So I'm going to try and pull up the foot, push down with the hand. Pull up the foot, push down with the hand. Push and pull at the same time. So I'm trying to lift the leg while the hand is kind of like pressing in the opposite direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Relaxing the hip, releasing the leg. I'm going to try the same thing on the left side. So moving the pillow, the ball between the left hand and the left leg. And then I'm going to try and lift that leg and then push down with the hand. Relax, and then again. Relax, and then again. So same as on the other side. See if I can focus on that little twitch deep into the front of the hip. So the hip flexors working to clump up on the hip and to get the hip going. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the hips, so giving the legs a little shape, relaxing front of the hip and front of the thigh. So it's a little bit more connection at the front. So this time I want to work at the back. I'm going to work both sides together. So if I'm seated, I'm going to walk the feet a little bit closer to the chair. And then as usual, I'm just going to shift the weight forward into the legs. And then with a little push, to see if I can squeeze with my bum, the hips a little bit lighter off the chair. And then I'm going to come back. So imagine to be sitting, to be standing off the chair. And then I'm going to sit back down again. If I'm lying down, I'm going to bridge. So same, I'm going to squeeze with my bum cheek, see if I can get the hips to lift. And then I'm just going to ease them back. Little lift, a big lift, it doesn't matter. See if I can think of driving with the back of the hips, with the back of the bum. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, giving the legs a little shake, relaxing the back of the leg, relaxing the back of the hip. So there's a little bit more connection at the back of the hip too. So I've got front and back. I'm going to try and see if I can get the lower back involved. I'm going to get into a little pelvic tilt. So if I'm lying down, use the mat to guide you. I'm going to tilt the pelvis back until I can feel that my lower back is flattening against the mat. And then I'm going to go back into neutral. So I'm going to tilt and release the tilt. To think of a little tension at the front of the belly, a gentle lift coming from your pelvic floor. And then easing back. So the pelvis is just gently rocking forward and back, massaging the lower back. If I'm seated, think of the same movement as I don't have anything behind me. See if you can be aware. The back of the rib cage is staying fixed, is staying still, is the lower back that is moving. So I'm just going to tuck and come back. Tuck and come back. So see if I can feel the change right at the bottom of the spine. So tilting and releasing the tilt. Think of a corset tightening through the middle and then just letting go. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, releasing the hips, and then from a little posterior anterior tilt, I'm going to go into a little hip hitch. So still releasing into the lower back. So this time, if you're sitting on the chair, imagine to be lifting your right seat bone off the chair. So I'm going to hitch the right hip, ease back, hitch the left hip, ease back, hitch the right, hitch the left. So feeling the hips are just rocking gently from side to side. A little tension into the side of the belly to create that lift. If I'm lying down, exactly the same. Think of the right side of the belly tensing to pull up on the right hip, the left side to pull up on the left. So side to side, side to side. 7, 6, so nice and loose. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back. Giving the hips, giving the legs a gentle shake, relaxing the hips, releasing the lower back. Then when you're ready, shuffling the feet and the knees nice and close together, raising the arms up to the ceiling and raising the arms up straight ahead of you. I'm going to start swinging around from side to side, from side to side. And then see if you can add the legs. As the arms go right, with the legs I'm going to go left. As the arms go left, the legs go right. So see if you can picture that full rotation through the whole of the spine. If you're seated, it's a little bit harder because obviously Again, the seat bones are fixed on the chair, but I can still kind of like push the legs and then push them the other way. 7, 6, rolling from shoulder to shoulder, from side to side. 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the upper back. When you're ready, if you're lying down, rolling over onto your side, and then slowly bringing yourself up into sitting. It's the same as usual, finding a comfortable position that allows you to sit as upright as possible, leaning against the sofa, against the wall, or taking the arms behind if you feel that you need that support behind you. The legs are comfortable, so there's no pain into the hip, into the knee. Same as we did at the beginning. See if we can create that space between the ribs and the pubic bone. So see if we can try and lengthen up. I'm going to take a deep breath in. I'm going to push the chest forward. I'm going to go up. I'm going to drop the shoulders back and down. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to look up. I'm going to look back as far as I can. And then I'm going to release. Exactly the opposite. I'm going to try and close the all of the front of the body, letting the chin drop down to the chest, the shoulders come forward, the body drops as far forward as I feel comfortable, as I feel in control, and then I'm going to curl back up again. Pushing the chest forward, see if I can create more space, drawing the shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades a little bit closer together, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing, coming forward again. Letting the chin drop, the shoulders come forward, rolling your way forward, rolling your way down. Last time. See if you can create the biggest pace possible at the front of the body. So I'm going to try and lengthen through the belly, lengthen through the rib cage. I'm going to try and open up through the front of the chest, lengthen through the front of the throat. And then I'm just going to release it back. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back. Take your bow. Give yourself a clap like that. Any questions?